Hello and welcome to this little team report, or should I say big team report, because today I'm talking about the team I was using for the last 2.5 months. It was a crazy team. It was a really good team because I was able to get 1,000 championship points with this one team. But let's take a closer look at it and feel free to use it for either Sacramento, Toronto, or the Stuttgart regionals. I really think it's one of the best teams regardless of how it performed recently, because recently it didn't have such a great success, but we will talk about it step by step. So when the format came out, I built this 6. And does it look similar to you? It kind of does, right? You can see I was playing a cup in Los Angeles on September 8th. And I built this team 2 weeks before. So in August, afterwards, I built V6, and the team was really good because I was able to finish third in a cup in Los Angeles, and that cup was super stacked. If you want to look, or if you want to know details, you can take a look at my Twitter because I posted everything there. But as you can see, there are a lot of things that that look similar. The Terra Stellar Sneezer, the Terra Dragon Adamant Dragapult, Terra Steel Primarina with Citrus Berry and a lot of special attack investment, Rillaboom with Terrafire, Assault Vest and U-Turn, Electabuzz with Terra Dark because the team didn't have a Psychic Resist, so I decided to run Terra Dark on Electabuzz because it also helps out against King Gambit. And last but not least, Flamethrower Volcarona. Flamethrower was great because it was able to OKO offensive Goldango. Flamethrower is a clean one-hit KO, and we had enough speed so that we outspeed Dragapult at +1. We speed Talonflame, which is kind of awkward, but it was prototype, right? Because then the Dortmund regional happened, and I made a full team report on this team. Starting off with Sneezer. I don't know why I ran for Spadef. You should always run for defense because it increases 2 rolls heavily. I think the Dragonite Scale Shot from a 99% chance drops to 75% 4 hits, and the guaranteed 1-hit KO from Covered Cloak Talonflame with Dual Wing Beat drops to 87.5% to 1-hit KO. So if you don't have especially defensive King Gambit, which I will talk about later, you should always run 4 defense on Sneezer. And Terra Dragon Dragapult was just really good back then because there were no fairies. The only fairy that was played was like Primarina, and some people used Clefairy, and also a little tiny bit used Weezing Galar, but other than that, Dragapult with Terra Dragon was just really, really good. I will talk about the evolution of the team because every tournament I played different Terras, different sets, but why all of that, I will talk about it. And I will also talk about the most recent team because these teams I'm presenting right now are a little bit outdated. What the weaknesses and the strengths are of the current team, we'll get to that when we get there. Primarina with Terra Poison is just really good because it flips the Sneezer matchup. You can still get slapped or parried by Diaclaw, which is not great, but it also helps against Rillaboom because nobody back then was using high horsepower Rillaboom, and so Terra Poison Primarina was just really, really nice. And I played a lot of wait, is this the Dortmund spread? Okay, so I played 200. Yeah, it is the Dortmund spread, right? So we also survived Diaclaw even when we do not Terra, which is pretty cool. We have a bump in special attack, and 88 speed was just really nice to outspeed all kinds of King Gambit, some Instant War, or most Instant War, I should say, Clefable, Porygon to Farigiraf, all these base 60 Pokemon. So that's why I decided to run 88 speed. Rillaboom, it had to hit hard, and it was made to survive. I think it was +2 Sucker Punch from King Gambit, as well as +2 make it rain from leftovers Goldango, or was it choice specs Terra Steel, something like that. Not super fast because I wanted to have something that's slower than Timid, Blood Moon, and Trick Room, so that's why I decided to run this Rillaboom spread. In hindsight, it's not the best spread, but it is what it is. I mean, I used that team to play the Dortmund regionals, and I got to top 16. I top cutted the regional. King Gambit, slower than Armor Rouge. I wanted to be slower than Min Speed Armor Rouge, which has 72 speed. So I decided to run 4 speed EVs to at least outspeed the King Gambits that run 0 speed. So nothing special to be said about that one. And Magma was really cool because with a modest nature, you deal significant damage. For example, Amoonguss dies to a combination of Dire Claw Overheat or Cuddle Cleave Overheat, High Horsepower Overheat, all that stuff, Dragon Darts Overheat. You one-hit KO Goldango, you one-hit KO King Gambit, and that's why modest Magma was definitely the right choice. And I wanted to outspeed Pokemon that creep on modest Pelipper as well as modest Pelipper itself, because Magma is a key piece in the rain matchup, and if the Pelipper is on the focus sash, it's pretty nice to get the KO before it gets a wearable off, right? So that's why I decided to run this kind of spread. But the problem this team had, especially with Terra Dragon Dragapult, Goldango, first of all, like a lot of Pokemon cannot really hit Goldango. Only the latter 3 can hit Goldango because Phantom Force is a 2-turn move, and especially with redirection, it gets really annoying. And on top of that, people used Clefable a lot more than in the beginning, and Terra Fairy Amoonguss was also on the rise. So that's why I decided to change the Dragapult to Terra Ghost. I kept the Adamant Nature, and I didn't run Max Attack because it didn't make a single difference in the calc, but with 4-4-4, it actually makes a huge difference in the rain matchup, because you take the moves from Basque Legion better, as well as from Pelipper. You can make the calcs, like all of these moves are rolls, but you increase the chance of living, so that's why I'm running 4-4-4 instead of like 250-254, okay? Primarina, this time max HP, because I wanted to get a little more bulk to survive something like a Make It Rain from +2 Goldango. Also 1 speed more, as you can see, instead of 88, we run 89 speed. And Rillaboom was also made faster to outspeed Timid, Blood Moon, as well as other Rillaboom that run like 113 speed, but the HP and the attack is the same. And King Gambit, huge difference. And now we come to this, what I said, for Spadef Sneasel. You should always run for defense unless you run a special defense King Gambit. Why? With this King Gambit spread and for Spadef on the Sneasel, Porygon 2 will get an attack boost when it leads against Sneasel King Gambit. And we run Terra Ghost on that King Gambit as well. And with Terra Ghost King Gambit and Porygon 2 always getting an attack boost if we lead Sneasel King Gambit, we have suddenly a very good matchup into the Porygon 2 Ursaluna teams. Because the plan before against these kind of teams, Porygon, Ursaluna, Amoonguss, and Snow, you know it, was to use Terra Dragon Dragapult with Outrage. But since I wanted to really play Terra Ghost on the Dragapult to have also a better matchup into Goldango, we had to change the King Gambit spread so that we still have a good matchup into the Ursaluna Porygon 2 teams. And that's why we run this much special defense, and you lead Sneasel King Gambit into the Porygon 2 teams with Rillaboom Magma in the back, and suddenly you flip the matchup completely. You can still run a normal King Gambit spread and 4 defense on the Sneasel, but then the Ice Beam does more damage on the King Gambit because you always use the Terra on the King Gambit, and you also get more damage on Rillaboom and Magma, which is not the best. And the special defense also helps against something like Goldango or Primarina. So yeah, that's why this King Gambit change. And Magma was also made 1 point faster because I made a team report on the team before, and I thought outspeeding the old Magma would be nice, but other than that, nothing changed much. We only dropped 1 point in special attack. And with that team, I also showed up to the little regionals, as you can see, and I was able to finish 22nd, not a top cut. I finished 8-3, but it felt very good. On the last day before the tournament, I decided to change the Rillaboom spread roll because I realized, wait, rain is actually a little more annoying. The early rain teams were pretty fine for me, but the meta has changed. People were running Terra, Grass, Choice Band, Bascule Legion. They changed the Terra types on Archaludon from Grass to Fairy, some of them. So I had to change the Rillaboom spread. And now it is faster than Modest Pelipper, as well as Archaludon that is only 1 point faster than Pelipper, as well as some Rillaboom. And this spread survives Dire Claw Poison from Adamant. Like, Adamant Sneezer does 93%, so we take the Dire Claw, then we get Grassy Terrain, and we would survive the Poison afterwards as well. And we survive the Make It Rain from Goldengo. I think it was +1 Terra Steel Life Orb, because if it used Make It Rain once, we can then survive the next one as well. So that's why I ran this Rillaboom spread. Magma was still 1 point faster than this. Nothing changed here. Why did we run so much defense? Well, I never explained that. I really wanted to survive a Terra. Like when we go Terra Ghost, we survive a Headlong Rush from Ursaluna. And we also take the moves from King Gambit better, because this is our #1 King Gambit check. That's why we have so much physical defense investment. And King Gambit, the same threat as before, with the Sneezer, as I said. Porygon 2 should get an attack boost against that lead. And then in the Global Challenge 2, I used the very same team as in Lille. As you can see here, nothing changed. And I was on a very good run. I started off 28-2 after 2 days, and then I had so many disconnects, it wasn't fun. It was really no fun, but I still was able to finish, I think, top 64. I think I finished 43rd, so yeah, another nice performance and another 80 championship points for our team. Then the Gdansk regional happened, and again, we made some changes. The Dragapult change to Jolly was one of the best changes I've ever made. Shoutouts to my friends, Kusha, Kanani, Alexander Ubaghs, Florian Harloff, Rahim Farzan, and Ibrahim Maarouf for playing the team with me. They used the team in Dortmund. Some of them used it in Lille, and most of them used it in Gdansk again. So we were playing this one team over and over again, and then Ibrahim had the suggestion to change one Terra type we will get to in a bit, but also the Dragapult nature. We changed it to Jolly, and it made so much sense because Dragonite was picking up in usage quite a bit, and with Jolly you suddenly outspeed +1 Dragonite, which is insane because they go for Scale Shot, they drop their defense, and then you can still Terra Blast or Dragon Dart them, and that saved so many games. Or Choice Scarf Bascule Legion. Choice Scarf Bascule Legion, boom, you outspeed them because they run Adamant, or most of them were running Adamant. I had this one rain matchup in round 6 in Gdansk. I lead Dragapult, he leads Scarf Bascule Legion. I just go for Terra Ghost, Terra Blast because I thought surely he's Adamant. I outspeed him, KO him, the game ends immediately basically. And that was cool. You outspeed +1 Baxcalibur because Baxcalibur has 208 speed if it's Adamant max speed after a Scale Shot. You outspeed +1 Volcarona because not a lot of them were faster than 143 speed. A lot of them were like 130 to 140. You outspeed them after a Quiver Dance. You outspeed Modest Ursaluna, Blood Moon, and Tyrant to finish them off with Dragon Darts. So much stuff that you outspeed with Jolly Dragapult, and that change made wonders, seriously. Primarina, the other big change was we went back to 228 HP and a bit more defense because now we are running Terra Water. which helps a lot against Goldango, because Goldango was still annoying, because Sneasler is so good, but it is completely walled by Goldango, and with Terra Water Primarina, you survive +2 Shadow Ball, make it rain whatsoever, and you 2-hit KO Goldango with Hyper Voice, and the extra damage was just really, really neat, and overall, I didn't need Terra Poison that much, so that change really was another good one. We had also 1.1 speed, because I wanted to outspeed the old Primarina, and I also wanted to outspeed Tyranitar. I did not know how fast the Tyranitar were going to go. Also, Incineroar again, yeah, going faster never hurts, and we also outspeed something like a paralyzed 110 speed-based one. Like with Diaclaw, we can get a paralysis on Zoa, Kisui, Ninetales, Alola. Even though for Ninetales, Alola, 89 speed is also enough, but Pokemon around that speed range you can outspeed when they are paralyzed, which is pretty neat. Also, I think Maushold has 179 speed, so paralyzed it has 89, so we also outspeed that. So if the opponent has Maushold with Terra Ghost, because otherwise we could just close combat into them, we can go for Diaclaw Hyper Voice. So that's why we made this change as well, and Terra Water Primarina felt amazing. It is a little tricky against something like Rillaboom, but if the opponent brings Rillaboom, we have Sneasler, Dragapult, Rillaboom, Kingambit, Magma, we can abuse that, okay? So I felt okay with changing to Terra Water. The Rillaboom spread changed quite a bit as well, because we wanted both. We wanted to have this speed stat we were using in the last regional, but we also wanted the old attack stat we were using. So we had to drop a lot of HP, but we were still able to survive Diaclaws from Sneasler, as well as the Make It Rain from Goldango. Nothing changed there, so that's why we changed the Rillaboom to this kind of spread. And now, first Magma didn't change at all, okay? Just plain old Magma, and then Kingambit. Don't ask me, okay? So we still have a special defense for the Sneasler Kingambit combination, as I said before, but we wanted to have one more speed. 0 speed felt really whack in the mirror, and we were thinking that no one would play like 72 speed. We were not playing against Armarouge stuff, and even if you face Armarouge, they should not be min speed, and the opposing Kingambits, either they have a lot of speed, like 60 EV, 68, 76, something like that, or they have 0 or 4. No shot, they have 12, and that's why we went 12, to either outspeed the Kingambit or just have more bulk against the other Kingambit. We still have a jump point and attack, and that's why we ended up with this weird Kingambit spread. And I can already tell you, for LAIC, I was using the same exact team. Again, in last second, I was thinking about changing Magma to Timid instead of Modest, and then make it 1 point faster than Dragonite, because it would change so much. If Magma outspeeds Dragonite and gets the Will-O-Wisp off before it can move, amazing. Or when the rain ends and the opponent has a Terra Grass Kingambit, getting the overheat into the Choice Band Basicule Legion first, amazing. But what should I say? I overslept, and so I forgot to change it, and it wasn't half bad. Like, I faced 2 Dragonite, I think, and it felt tricky, but I won against them. I lost against one. I lost against Torvif, against Victor Medina, but other than that, the spread has felt fine. So this is the current team. You can find this team in the description below as well. But what are strengths and weaknesses for the team? So let's start with the weaknesses. Let's start with the weaknesses. There are 2 teams in particular that make it feel that are really hard to deal with. So first of all, Rain. It is whack because Rain is one of the best archetypes and one of the most used ones, but Rain is really tricky. It depends on the Rain combo. If the opponent has Choice Band, Basque Legion with Terra Grass, that's the most tricky one. Terra Water is a little more beatable because especially with 196 Adamant, against Noble Basque Legion, Grassy Glide is a 50% chance to one-hit KO. And we've also got King Gambit, so that is fine. Also, Terra Fairy and Terra Grass Archaludon, you can always hit super effectively with Sneasel. So that is also alright. But you have to get the turn 1 right pretty much, and even then it's not easy. Terra Bug Archaludon is a nightmare because you don't have anything that can really deal with it. Some Basque Legion sets can be tricky, and you have to get a lot of reads right. So Rain is definitely not easy. It is winnable, but the early Rain teams were really better for that team, let's say that. And the other team that is really hard to deal with is the Elizabeth team. That is the team with Sinistra, Pelipper, Archaludon against Rain, but different Rainer. So Pelipper, Archaludon, Dragonite, Sinistra, Ursaluna, and what was the last one on the team? Goldango, yeah. Victor completely smashed me in LAIC, and I didn't have a chance. It was unwinnable pretty much. So this is another matchup you really do not want to face. But other than that, the remaining matchups are pretty good if you know how to play against those. So as I said, against the Ursaluna P2 stuff, you can do Sneasel King Gambit with Willa Magma back. That works pretty well. Works against the Sun team from Marco Fierro as well. The Primarina is also a decent bring into Marco Fierro. So that's a good matchup. Dondozo is super fine because especially with Terra Water Primarina, you have a good mon into Talonflame Goldango as well. You can just go for Terra Water Hyper Voice, and the matchup is definitely playable because you have double Fake Out with Terra Water Primarina, and Terra Water Primarina is also a nice adaptation because people were running Terra Steel Dondozo with Heavy Slam to one-hit KO Primarina, but with Terra Water you resist it and you can get the haste off. Especially with double Fake Out and Redirection, you have a really good Dondozo matchup, and I always want to have a really good Dondozo matchup. Psyspam is also beatable. I would say easy, but also not too easy, like 60-40, because you've got U-turn Dragapult for the Indeedee. You U-turn to Rillaboom, remove terrain immediately, and if they don't have Psychic Seed, you can lead like Dragapult Primarina, go for U-turn Hyper Voice, and with Rillaboom Magma in the back, you have a really good combination of Pokemon that can deal with Trick Room teams, especially with Terrafire on the Rillaboom as well. Primarina sometimes not the best lead, especially against Lilycode. You want to lead like Dragapult Magma, you can go for Dragon Darts Follow Me, you can go for Overheat immediately, because they have to respect with Follow Me as well. But Rillaboom, Dragapult, Primarina, King Gambit, Magma, Sash, Sneasel, you can pretty much bring everything and you would be fine. So the Psyspam matchup, the Hard Trick Room matchup is really nice. Another good matchup is the do you call it Nielsen team? The one with Talonflame, Ursaluna, Blood Moon, Sneasel, and Didi. You know which team I'm talking about, because that's another good reason to run Terra Water Primarina, because Terra Water Primarina gets the extra damage on the Ursaluna and gets the KO on the Talonflame, because otherwise Talonflame can survive the Hyper Voice, which is not great, but with Terra Water it never does. And I was able to beat Frederick Nielsen and Calvin Foster, both using this kind of team, just by leading Primarina Magma, trading my Magma for the Talonflame. Like they go for Tailwind, Terra Normal, Blood Moon, I go for Follow Me, Terra Water, Hyper Voice, and then I can go to Dragapult, because then we can go for Dragon Darts, and the Sneasel cannot go for Terra Dark anymore, and if they keep their Terra on turn 1, the Ursaluna dies immediately to the Terra Hyper Voice, and you win terrain control because you bring Rillaboom in the back. So Primarina Magma, Rillaboom Dragapult is just a really good combination of Pokemon against the Nielsen team as well, so that matchup also felt really good for us. But only because of Terra Water Primarina. If it is a different Terra, the matchup suddenly is really, really bad. So yeah, other than that, I played against Marco Fierro in Gdansk. Matchup was fine, nothing too spectacular. You have a really good matchup against these dark teams. Dragonite or Saluna Goldango is something you want to see, because Primarina and Magma are just really, really good there. Sneasel can also pull its weight. Jolly Dragapult outspeeds, as I said, +1 Dragonite, +1 Volcarona, so you also take that. I mean, I beat a lot of Duck teams and a lot of really good Duck players as well. Like, for those who don't know what Duck stands for, it's Dragonite Ursaluna Goldango. I lost to Eduardo Cunha, but he also didn't have Ursaluna. I beat Aurelian Solar. I beat, two friends of mine beat Simone Sanvito. So the team overall has a really good Duck matchup. And that's also nice to have, because that team was also really popular back then. But yeah. Other than that, is there a combination of Pokemon? Like Mouse Ape is also doable with Follow Me Magma. You can redirect the beat-ups. And Sneasel Dragapult is really good into Mouse Ape as well, because you lead with Sneasel Dragapult. And what you can do is you just Terra Blast, close combat with Annihilate slot. This is what I always do. If they go for Protect and Terra, Annihilate dies. If they go for Protect, no Terra, Annihilate dies. If they go for no Protect, like beat up, Terra dies. Like Annihilate has to either switch out or they have to go for Follow Me, but then they lose their mouse hold and you get the Terra Blast. Like you are still locked into Terra Blast. And next turn you can switch to Magma. They don't have beat up, they don't have Follow Me Taunt anymore. You can burn it. If they go Terra Fire, you have Primarina in the back. Like Dragapult, Sneasel, Magma, Primarina is a really good combination of Pokemon for Mouse Ape. Is there another? Like, am I missing something? Again, in general, against Tailwind teams, this Primarina is amazing because you get the one-hit KO on the Talonflame. Is there anything I'm missing? Like, is there a super popular team? I don't think so. The mirror is tricky, but every mirror is tricky. So yeah. I hope, 30 minutes roundabout. If you have any questions about the team, let me know down in the comments below. And also let me know what you think about the team. For me, it's not my favorite team. I gotta say, my favorite team I've built is my very first team, Regulation B, was my very first team I built. My Worlds team like both Worlds teams I've built also have a special place on my heart, but this is in the top 5, okay? Because I never had a team I was using for 2.5 months straight, and also just acquiring 1,000 championship points with one team just feels unreal. Also, I didn't say how I performed with this team in LAIC. I got a top cut. Unfortunately, I lost in top 32 to Shohei Kimura, the person I lost to in Worlds 2023. But we still made maybe not quite 1,000, but almost 1,000 CP, and that's all that matters. Now, the team is super fun. If you try it, let me know as well. It also had a time where it was spammed on Limitless. It was the most used team. Maybe we can get there again. But as I said, Rain and Elizabeth, super hard to play against. So keep that in mind if you want to try the team. And with all that being said, I will see you in the next video. Next week, I will start with the Victory Road World Cup stuff, where I will comment on my own matches and also talk about how our Team Germany does. I will see you there, and I hope you enjoy your week, and I will see you then. Whatever. Goodbye.